Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another vlog. And just have the usual plan for this one. I'm going to showcase some titles that I got from Amazon and Target's recent sales. Uh, got a handful of stuff from the Dollar Tree as well thrown in there. But for the most part, most of it is from Amazon and Target. And I got some thoughts to share on a couple more movie trailers, as well as some thoughts that I want to share with you all when it comes to some upcoming home video releases, and maybe a little bit on some movie news. Nothing too extensive or too crazy, but there's a little something I wanted to touch upon in this video. But anyway, let's get started. Actually, before I dive into the usual, I want to explain any fan noise you might hear in the background if you're using headphones or if it's something that you're noticing, because I got a fan on. I have to have a fan on in here. My room is the one that gets baked by the sun all day, and summer has officially started with a bang here in the Pacific Northwest. I swear all of the transplants from California have caused the climate to shift closer to California weather. I mean, there is a day on the forecast this week uh, that is forecasted to be 110 degrees. And before that, it's going to be like in the high 90s. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I do not like super hot weather. That being said, it is a little bit more of a dry heat over here than it is compared to Oklahoma City when I lived there for a couple years. I mean, I'll take the dry heat any day of the week. It still sucks, but it's nowhere near as bad and hellish as the humid heat. 110, 115 in the humid heat is a nightmare. You can be butt ass naked and you're still sweating all over the place because of the fact that it's humid and it's just nasty. It's awful. And I will say that the weather here is definitely better in comparison, but it still sucks. And if people don't believe climate change is real, they should take a look at the forecast for the weather here in Vancouver, Washington. Like, this is not normal summer weather, especially for this early in the summer. So that's why I got the fan on. Otherwise, I'm not going to be having a good time. And wanted to also make an announcement, because that's not really the announcement. I just wanted to provide a little bit of that and do a little bit of a rant about, hot weather. But the announcement is that I got a second job. For those of you who don't know, I've been working retail at a local Michael's for the past 2.5, 3 years. And I haven't minded it. Started out way better. Management's been not the same, but I don't want to go on that tangent because I'll be here for a while. But anyway, it's still decent enough that I still want to work there. But, it's part-time and it's retail and it's minimum wage and that's not a lot of money. So I've been trying to find a second job so I can get double the income, make some more money, save up so I can hopefully maybe move out of my parents' house in the next year or two and get my own place. So I am really excited and really pumped for this next step and this upcoming adventure of learning a new job and working things through. It's at another retail place, and it's one that's really close. Actually, I can walk to it from my current job, and just waiting for the background check to go through, and then gonna deal with the whole training schedule and figure all that out. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is not only because I'm excited about it, but because of the fact that that's going to be changing my schedule dramatically. So my availability is going to be affected when it comes to YouTube videos and YouTube, and I wanted to give you all a heads up in case you start seeing weeks where there's only like 1 or 2 videos being uploaded. That's because I'm trying to balance 2 jobs and YouTube at the same time. Probably something a lot of people have already been doing or have done for years on YouTube, but it's going to be a new thing for me, so it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period. But I'm still going to try to get a lot done. I'm still going to try to pump out as much as I possibly can. When it comes to the requests that have been coming in, I'm going to try to get those taken care of and uploaded within the next 2 weeks. All of them. Isaiah, I know you've been waiting a long time for the review of Them, the TV series. I apologize for that delay, but it's one of those shows that I really wanted to think on, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't rushing into things or making rash judgments when it comes to that series. I want to be careful with it, but at the same time, I want to make sure that it's a good video. So I've been writing some notes. I've been thinking about it. I've been doing a little bit of extra research on that one. So that'll be coming within the next couple weeks. I already did watch the show, and I do have a lot to say about it, but I want to make sure that I'm saying it in a way that's fair to the show and fair to the audience. So I'm just going to leave it at that. When it comes to the other requests, I'm filling them right now. The plan is to do more videos today, other than just this vlog. So I hope you all enjoy those videos when they do get uploaded. And I apologize for the inconvenience, and I apologize for the delays. It's just been one of those things where I've been trying to balance my current job, which I've been getting a lot of hours lately, because I'm trying to cover for somebody who's no longer there, and that's just a whole clusterfuck. But anyway, that's the heads up on things on that front. Enough personal shit. Let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk about some titles that I picked up. Let's start with the only 4K title that I got to show you. And it's a doozy. The 4-movie collection of Indiana Jones. I've been looking forward to this collection ever since it was announced. No, I don't have the Steelbook release. I didn't want the Steelbook release because it cost more, and I didn't really think the Steelbook artwork was really that great. I do have a little bit of a rant on this set, though. It feels very cheap in comparison to other 4K sets that I own. And it's got this, I think it's like a poster or something. Got this thing. It's kind of pointless. I don't really, it looks like it was photoshopped. There's some kind of map or whatever. The map legend. Like, who gives a fuck about a map legend? Like, ooh, what a special feature, a map legend. And then there's, like, this poster that has, like, the 4 films, which is kind of cool. But, yeah, this map legend is literally nothing. And you've got the digital codes, which, here you go, folks. If you're an Indiana Jones fan and you want to see the films digitally, you want to stream them, here is the code for Raiders and Temple of Doom. You got it? Screenshot it, put it down. And then we have Last Crusade and Kingdom of Crystal Skull. Should be enough time. So that's the digital codes. I don't use them. I'd rather give them to my subscribers. And even like the inside case here is very just bland. Just nothing. I mean, white background, just feels cheap. The disc art itself, I mean, the transfers are fucking amazing. I'm gonna say that right off the bat. I mean, this is a 100% upgrade over the previous Blu Ray set in terms of the transfers. So it's definitely worth owning when it comes to that. But it's just a disappointment in other ways in terms of the presentation, especially in comparison to the Complete Adventures Blu Ray set. This set has a lot of weight to it. Presentation wise, it looks cooler. I mean, it definitely looks like there was more care and more thought put into it. The booklet, I know people have complained about it, but I actually like the book better than whatever generic garbage that they were doing there. I mean, look at this artwork. Like, this is just so much fucking better in terms of the presentation, in terms of the care, the thought, the appreciation for the films. I mean, I like this book so much, I'm going to keep it because I'm a big fan of these movies. I might even put the 4K discs in this set. Fuck it. I like this set. So, that's the Indiana Jones 4K set compared to the Complete Adventures Blu Ray set. Now we get to some DVDs. Like I said, most of these are from Dollar Tree. Some of them I also got from Hamilton. This one I got from the Amazon warehouse. Manimal, the complete series. Short-lived TV show that I think featured effects by Stan Winston. Then we have another TV show that I've actually been rewatching, Inside Amy Schumer. Now, Amy Schumer is an incredibly controversial comedian lately. She's been accused of stealing jokes. To me, that's a whole that's just a bunch of bullshit, because every fucking comedian steals jokes. Comedians that say that they don't are full of shit. There's no such thing as a 100% original joke, just like there's no such thing as a 100% original story or screenplay. So I don't buy that she's alone when it comes to stealing jokes, or that she steals jokes more than any other comedian. Uh, uh, and I do see a lot of the criticisms that people have of her, and I agree with a lot of them, especially now. Like, her last special was terrible, and the one before that was embarrassing. So her comedy has definitely deteriorated over the years, but I never really hated her like other people have. I actually do remember having some fun with her show, and I have been enjoying rewatching this. It's not the greatest sketch comedy show ever, but I've laughed quite a few times. I would say season one, the first three episodes are pretty strong, but then it kind of goes downhill after that. But so far, season two, I've really been enjoying. And overall, I think she's a pretty good actress, especially when it comes to her skits on the show. And I can see why people saw her as someone who could be a potential star because of her personality and charisma. I yeah, I don't mind Inside Amy Schumer. And then I also got season three because it was a part of a pack. It didn't cost me that much at all. So, like I said, not my favorite sketch comedy show. I would definitely put Key and Peele above it, or Chappelle's Show, but I mean, it's not that bad though. And Amy Schumer as a comedian, I think at least she has some charm and charisma and ability to tell a joke compared to some of the other stand-up comedians or female stand-up comedians that I've seen, at least early on in her career. Now she's lost it. She's become too political, and she's become too obsessed about vagina and whatever jokes. So I can, like I said, I agree with a lot of the criticisms people have for her now, but in the past she wasn't that bad. And rewatching that show has really reminded me of that. Here we have something called Ava's Possessions, and it's one of those dollar movies. I got it for $1. It was at the Dollar Tree. I mean, I'll take a chance on it for $1. Got this from Amazon Warehouse, pretty much brand new, double feature of Boyle Young movies, Blood Fight and Ironheart. They have been on DVD in the past, but not with transfers that look this good. I mean, the Blu-ray is bare bones. So, and it cost me way less to get the DVD, and still has the same transfers. It actually looks pretty good. Then we have some more Dollar Tree DVDs. We've got High Rise, uh, The Eyes of My Mother, we've got a film called Dead Sight that looks promising, and it's a zombie movie, and you got a guy who's blind trying to fight zombies or help someone hunt zombies. So it might have some potential. We have a horror anthology called Ghost Stories. It's like a throwback to Amicus horror films, which I'm definitely all for. And then we have In Order of Disappearance, which apparently was remade by the same director as that film Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson. Then we get to the Target Amazon mix for the most part. There's a couple other stuff that I got from other places, but most of these are from Amazon and Target. Because Amazon had this crazy good deal recently where for Prime members, they had like these coupons that you could use and you would get like a considerable amount of money off when it comes to Scream Factory releases or Shout Factory releases. Uh, so I was able to fill in a lot of holes recently. So I got Species, the collector's edition. This is the only Species film worth owning on Blu-ray to me. The second film sucks, and I'm fine with the DVD. Same goes for 3 and 4. I don't need those on Blu-ray, and I'm not going to pay some crazy amount of money for them either, just because they're out of print. Do not care. Glad to have this, though. Surprised me that it had the slipcover, to be honest. This is the collector's edition. It's got a ton of features, new 4K scan. Then we have Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Heard a lot of good things about this one. Did not have it on Blu-ray, only had it on DVD. This cover art, though, I do not like this cover art. This is a slipcover that I don't care for. I think it just looks really ugly. The color schemes, it's just, ugh. I do not like it. It looks way too fake, too. I'm not a fan of it. But then again, the original poster art wasn't much either. This isn't like that great of a collector's edition because there's not much in terms of new features. There's like a couple new interviews, but it does have a new HD master, so it's not the same master as a Blu-ray. This, on the other hand, this is definitely worth getting if you're at all a fan of this film. The Shout Select release of Explorers. Now, I do have issues with this film. I don't like the ending, and it's honestly one of the most disappointing films I can think of from the 80s. Because the first 50 minutes of this movie, before they get into space, are right up there with other 80s classics. Like The Goonies, The Monster Squad, you name it. It is on the same level of quality. I love the first hour or so of this movie. And then they get into space, and then it's like the air got let out of a balloon. So, it's so disappointing. That being said, I'm glad to have it on Blu-ray, because this has the theatrical and the home video cuts of the film. And it's got a new feature-length documentary that has interviews with Joe Dante, the screenwriter, Ethan Hawke, and more. So, and there's new deleted scenes, and there's some new interviews with the cinematographer and the editor. So, yeah. And I think the transfer is really nice. It looks good. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of Explorers, like, this is the release to get for sure. So, Explorers. Then we have another Shout Select release of California. This one looked like it might be interesting. I only had the DVD, and it's one of those where the aspect ratio is trash and does not look good at all. I've converted on modern TVs, So it's a good deal too. And this is the first time you have the theatrical cut on Blu-ray, because the other versions just had the director's cut. So that's California. Then we've got, speaking of California, The Wizard, the collector's edition. This is honestly absolutely jam-packed with stuff. I mean, you have a new 4K transfer for the film. You've got an audio commentary with the director. You've got never before released deleted scenes. And then on disc 2, you've got a feature-length documentary on the making of the movie, with interviews with the director Todd Holland, actors Fred Savage and Luke Edwards, the writer-producer, and a ton of other people, and a few other features. But yeah, like this is like loaded with features. So, The Wizard. Then we have Single White Female. Only had this on DVD. Wanted to get it because this has a new transfer, I believe, and it also has some interviews with a couple people who were involved with the film. Nothing with Bridget Fonda, Jennifer Jason Leigh, sadly, but it does have interviews with the director, a couple of the writers, a screenwriter. So, Single White Female. Then we have Shout Select release of Used Cars. It's Kurt Russell, directed by Robert Zemeckis. We've got The Crush with Alicia Silverstone and Carrie Elways. Then we've got Streets of Fire. Really enjoy this film. I only had the overseas Region B, region locked Blu-ray from Second Sight, and wanted to get this because I think it has a different documentary and it has a new transfer that's supposedly better. So, Streets of Fire. Then we have Twins with Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito finally on Blu-ray. You know, it just has a new interview with Ivan Reitman for the features, a new interview with the writer, no commentary, no interview with Arnold or DeVito, which sucks. Like, this movie was a huge hit, and Arnold is willing to talk about a sequel. So I don't know why Arnold didn't want to do anything for this. So it sucks that there's no interviews with Arnold or DeVito or anything. Here we have the recent Shout Select release of Wildcats. One of my favorite sports films, one of my favorite comedies. This honestly is probably my favorite Goldie Hawn film, other than maybe Death Becomes Her. Really enjoy this movie. Glad to have this on Blu-ray. Looks really good because it's a new restoration from a 2K scan. Just has an interview with the screenwriter, nothing with Goldie Hawn or anyone else, which is too bad, but still glad to have it on Blu-ray for the collection. Then we have Virus. This film's honestly pretty disappointing. I got it though because good deal and for the features. Then we have some Target buy one get one releases here. So we've got Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, the 30th anniversary release from Dark Sky. This is the release to get if you're a fan of this film. Really good remaster in 4K. Bunch of features. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. We've got Soldier, Kurt Russell. Underrated film. We've got the only version of The Fugitive you should get on Blu-ray. The one that's remastered and significantly better than the other release. Then we have some Seagal films. We've got Out for Justice. And then we've got triple feature with Above the Law, Under Siege, and Under Siege 2. Then we have some more randomness. We've got Mouse Hunt. Really enjoy this movie. Looks good on Blu-ray. Definitely an upgrade over the DVD. Then we have, speaking of The Fugitive, we've got the sequel on Blu Ray, U.S. Marshals. And we've got Dragonheart, because the DVD does not hold up well at all. Got a double feature of Face Off and Snake Eyes, because I didn't have either one on Blu Ray. And then rounding it out with some Dollar Tree titles. Survival of the Dead, which I only got because it was $1. Officer Down. God Bless America. And the Belko Experiment. So that's it for the titles that I got on Blu-ray and 4K and DVD. Now we get to some of my thoughts on some trailers. So there's not much, but I did want to share some thoughts on trailers like Pig. Pig looked like one of those movies that could be really hit or miss. I like the look of the film. It looks like it's well shot, well edited, has some nice production values. Nicolas Cage definitely looks like he's going to be delivering a legitimately good performance. This is not Cage unhinged. This is not Cage trying to be so bad it's good. This is Cage trying to be serious and trying to deliver a legitimately compelling performance, and he's equally as capable of those kind of performances. So I'm curious about it because of Cage, not necessarily because of the plot, but I want to see. I would like to see it for his performance and for the directing and cinematography one of these days. I'm definitely more interested in seeing that than Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. This movie screams of Paramount and MGM and Skydance and whoever the hell is behind this, just trying to be Marvel. Like, this looks like an MCU film. This looks like this is Snake Eyes joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It looks like they just took all of the ingredients from MCU movies and threw them in and mixed in Snake Eyes and some G.I. Joe characters, and we're like, yep, this is what the franchise is now. The MCU sloppy seconds. From the way that the directing appears, from the editing, from the cinematography, from the writing, just everything about the trailer that I saw, it looked like it was a Marvel movie. It looked like it was just a generic, in one ear, out the other MCU film. It looked every bit as generic and forgettable to me as Shang-Chi or The Eternals. Did not impress me one bit. And it's too bad. I like Snake Eyes and I like G.I. Joe, but this just didn't even look like it was that much fun. It looked like something I'd already seen before. It looked like it looked like I had seen this movie already. That's how generic it looked. And then you have Candyman, a new trailer for the new Candyman came out. Visually, it looks like it's definitely got some money behind it and some talent behind the camera. Looks like it's going to have some decent performances. But what I'm worried about is that it's going to be too political. It's going to be too full of itself. It's going to be too pretentious. Something about the trailer just didn't jive with me. And it makes me worry that this is going to be too much of a message film. And I think there's a time and place for that. But I'm getting tired of that. I'm getting tired of these horror films like Annabelle. Well, I'm not Annabelle. I mean Antebellum. I'm getting tired of those kind of horror films either, but for different reasons. But yeah, I'm getting tired of these message political horror films. Ever since Get Out came out, it seems like they're just trying to do that. And each one that I've seen has failed miserably to be the next Get Out. And I'm afraid from what I've been seeing, it seems like Candyman is going to be another one of those things. Where it's not necessarily about it being a straightforward horror film. Even though there were elements of the original that were like that, it didn't seem like they were as in your face. They weren't as obvious. It didn't seem like it was shoving it down your throat, and that's what I'm worried about. Is that this new Candyman is going to shove its political message down your throat until it makes you shit yourself. And I'm not looking forward to it if that's the case. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Candyman. Uh, in terms of some upcoming releases on home video, I'm really excited about Near Dark. I think Studio Canal is going to be doing it. There's going to be finally Near Dark is going to be getting a new release. I think it's going to be a special edition, and it's going to be a 4K release. It's going to be remastered, and if you're a fan of that film, definitely keep an eye out on the calendar for that release, as I know I am. And then we have another upcoming release is Breakdown. I think it's going to be part of the Paramount Classics or Paramount Presents release line. So it's going to be a part of that. So I think it's going to be the same transfer from the overseas release from Imprint that's pretty expensive to import here in the US. And I think hopefully they're going to port over the same features. And if they're going to do that, I don't even need to bother getting that release. So I'm excited about that because I'm a big fan of that movie with Kurt Russell and Kathleen Quinlan and JT Walsh. If you're a fan of Unbreakable, that was recently announced for a 4K release. So pretty psyched about Breakdown and Near Dark. Those are the two releases that I really wanted to focus on. And when it comes to a little bit of the movie news I was talking about, there was a little bit of a flicker there. I'm just going to leave it in. I don't want to edit it out. Sometimes my camera does this flickering bullshit. It's because of I think it's because I'm shooting in 4K, so sometimes there's some frames that drop. I'm just going to leave it in there. I don't really care at this point. But in terms of some upcoming news, in terms of the movie news, I wanted to talk about how Harrison Ford got injured on the set of Indiana Jones 5. Apparently he injured his shoulder rehearsing some fights, and it's too bad, and I hope he gets better and he recovers nicely. But that's another reason why I didn't want another Indiana Jones film, is because Harrison Ford is up there in age. He can't do as much in terms of the stunts, and injuries like this are going to happen more often and easier. He's going to get hurt more, and he'll be doing things like just rehearsing a fight scene and he'll hurt his shoulder. And that's just unfortunate, and I hope it's nothing too serious because I really like Harrison. And that being said, it's nothing new for him. I think he got a leg injury doing The Force Awakens. He hurt his hand punching Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner 2049. And he's a tough son of a bitch, don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to count him out. But it's just one of those things where he's 78 years old. And Harrison needs to know his limitations, and so should the crew. Like, I hope it wasn't an instance of the crew working him too hard. Because then that's their fault. They should have been like, okay, Harrison, we're going to call it a wrap. We've done enough rehearsal for the fight scene. I think you got it. They're not going to, like, push him like he's still in his 40s, because he's not. He's 78 years old. I hope that's not the case. And I hope Harrison wasn't pushing himself too hard either. You should know your limitations, man. Put your ego aside and realize I'm 78 years old. I can't go like I used to. But then again, this is Harrison Ford, and he's doing shit like riding a bike for what, 10 miles a day or some shit. So he just needs to know his limitations, and hopefully this shoulder injury, if it isn't too serious, will definitely let him know. It'll make him aware of his limitations more. But I just wanted to share that because it's just unfortunate, and I hope that he gets better. And it's nothing too serious, but it's just one of those things where you gotta know your limitations, man. You really do. But really, that's it. There's nothing really extra in terms of movie news that's really worth talking about. In terms of some upcoming adaptations or upcoming sequels or upcoming anything. So I heard a rumor that they're going to do another Christine adaptation. Not surprised. I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as Carpenter's take on it, but it's something that does not surprise me in the slightest. Oh, another upcoming home video release, The Thing. Speaking of John Carpenter, John Carpenter's The Thing is going to be getting a 4K release later this year, and I'm super psyched about that too. I hope that it uses the right color timing this time around compared to the Scream Factory release, but we shall see. But either way, I'm pretty psyched. I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty excited about that because it's one of my favorite films. But anyway, that's my thoughts on a bunch of different things, and that's the vlog. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you later. See ya.